Now, Baruch Hashem, look at this, look at this. You've got the thing where somebody who occupies himself with the study of Torah or God's law and instruction with pure and a pure motivation, right? This person is comparable to God's partner in creation, okay? Somebody who occupies himself with the study of God's law or Torah with a pure motivation is comparable to God's partner in creation. And one can even become holy, sacred, and pure family and partnership, or a partner with the Creator in His creation. And think about this. How often do we look at our life situation and think, you know, I should work for this company. This is a huge company. They have good benefits. What they do seems to be okay. Seems like they're legit. Hold on a minute. Do you know who you should work for or work with? And even beyond that, do you know what your purpose is? Even beyond your purpose, even that, what and where to, if you live this, okay? If you live this way, and you work this way, and you rest this way, it is God's creatures, male and female, created in His image and after His own likeness, even legitimately God's children, so to say, right? And now, how does one fulfill the role of, and actually, live and actually have the most magnificent, the most beneficent, the most blessed, and the most important, and the most honorable, and the most critical, and the most valuable existence, and also an occupation or a profession with the Creator, right? With God. How do you live, work, and rest with God and thereby also live the absolute maximum, highest quality of life that is the best thing for yourself and for everybody and for all of God's creation? In other words, how do you live the most magnificent, divine life, including your occupation and your profession, working for the Creator, right? Tending to His creation and even perfecting the universe through the will of the sovereign of all sovereigns, the King of Kings, blessed be His name. Like, to perfect the universe through the will of the Almighty, okay? That is where it's at. That's what you should be busy with. I'll explain how it works. I know how this works. It's the greatest thing that I ever imagined by divine inspiration. It's the greatest thing that I ever heard of or read about. And it's actually something that can be the case. You just have to be almost like prudent and wise and guided by the Creator in a certain way, and it actually all works. And the thing is this, it's that, so in order to be, what is that? Basically, like, worthy of and actually be God's partner in creation. This is a serious thing. Somebody who occupies himself with the study of Torah for pure motives, with pure motivation, right? Somebody who's purely motivated, who is motivated with an upright heart, who has legitimate and divinely defined pure motives, right? Somebody who has motives who are divinely definable as pure and legitimate to study God's law and to learn and to do the law is like God's partner in creation. And this is because there's a creation here, and we've got this perfect creation, and the blueprints are perfect. It's expanding according to His will, and we have to see to it that it operates right. And this is where we come in, okay? And so look, what it takes God's loving kindness and wisdom. And you have to be somebody who is wise, because, see, God's universe works according to his wisdom. So if you have God's wisdom, you can actually become a partner with him and actually work with him. It's possible. It's a very serious thing. This is like the ultimate opportunity. Just like the ultimate, includes the ultimate employment opportunity. That, look, the Creator, he is like a loving, holy, holy, holy Father to us. And so to work with him, it's a very good thing. It's a very serious thing. And you've got the opportunity and the ability to actually see to it that the world that we live in, that God created, is made and reformed or repaired or tikkuned into the way that he had foresaw it to be. This is a serious thing. Basically, you're looking at that all human beings should learn and study and live according to learn and study and live the 7 Noahide laws and according to them. And then you've got Israel, every Israelite, Levite, and Cohen. Israel should basically keep the 3 pilgrim feasts, so the Passover, then first fruits, then tabernacles, and then the Sabbaths and the Shemitah year and the Jubilee year. And at that point, get the blessings for obedience. Then that's all good to go. So somebody has to both educate and guide. It's like intelligently educate and guide and build in God's creation. So you see, look, the problems that the world has, all the problems of our time, they're based on lack of knowledge or ignorance of the law. Maimonides said something like, all the problems of our time are because of lack of knowledge or ignorance, or of lack of wisdom. And that's true. God used wisdom in the beginning to create everything, and it keeps working systematically in a good way according to his wisdom. Wisdom is a principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all that getting, get understanding. Okay, did you know that with wisdom, we can even make this all work? Did you know that with wisdom, we can actually live? You can even live as a Torah scholar, as a Hasid, right? One who has received God's mercy and who is legit, merciful, and good to all of God's creatures, to all human beings, and who accomplishes the highest good, right? With wisdom, this is possible. Now, this wisdom, my friends, I'm going to share this because the highest form of philanthropy apparently is to share wisdom, because with wisdom you can manage everything of the world, such as wealth, even education, the ability to live a godly life, all this. It's manageable, it's attainable, it's doable, right? It's positively accomplished with wisdom. So, one of the most important parts of wisdom that we have to have, and we have it, and we retain it, and we work with it, and so should you, is you have to have wisdom about the cycles of life, the hakafot ha'chaim. This wisdom and knowledge is talked about in the Holy Torah, even in the Proverbs of King Solomon, double honors. And it's also written of largely and specifically in a book called Self-Mastery and Fate with the Cycles of Life by H. Spencer Lewis. There's a free PDF of this on the internet, Self-Mastery and Fate with the Cycles of Life by H. Spencer Lewis. Get a copy of this. It's free. And I will tell you for a fact, Habarim, that the wisdom and the knowledge in that book, okay? And I say this because I read and study the Holy Law, and I have a very keen sense of discernment between good and evil masquerading as good also, so that I can tell you that the knowledge and the Chokmah in that book is on point, and it's in accordance with the basic guidelines of the Holy Torah in terms of the wisdom that it talks about. There's a specific passage somewhere where King Solomon, double honors, says something like, about when he was young, he looked for wisdom, and God gave it to him. And it included the knowledge of times, cycles, and seasons. Okay, a farmer has to know the seasons and the times and the weather so he can plant his crop, take care of it, and reap a good harvest during these 4 seasons, right? It's the same thing in life. There's the same system at work. So the greatest, the most legitimate objective there is to fully accomplish God's will, to basically bring the world to come, like bring about the world to come. Make the world to come. How does this work? You have to live a certain way. And look, all of this, as massive as a task as it seems to be like, the Creator helps us with it all. Okay, it's really true. The trust is an attribute of Hesed, so it works. The Tikkun Olam, repairing the world and bringing the world to come in, is actually possible by the proper application of divine wisdom in accordance with God's will and His law. That goes automatically interactively. It interacts with itself. Like, if you live according to God's wisdom, you actually also live according to God's law, sort of automatically, mostly, because the beginning of wisdom is a fear of God, right? So, like, you will automatically live in a way that you respect the Creator and then pay attention to His way and live that way, and He will help you, you know? So, look, what has to happen now is the world has to be brought into a state of uniform law and order and justice and peace according to God's will. This is possible. The only way to do this is with wisdom. If you do this with wisdom, right? If you do it with wisdom, you actually will be successful at it. And a lot of the things that one is like thinking about, where there could be challenges or obstacles or problems along the way, they're basically negated. Because with wisdom, everything works perfectly, even in God's creation. It's actually true. One should know that. Don't be hesitant to embark on the greatest and the most important journey in cooperation with the Creator and the Tikkun Olam and bringing the world to come, like repairing the world, bringing the complete total world, all humans, into a state of legitimate existence in accordance with the 7 Noahide laws, and then also bringing, like, you're bringing the maximum brachas or blessings that the Creator has in store for His creation by your legitimate, wise, fit cooperation with Him. And this is something that can be achieved. It has to be guided by wisdom. This complete total process, for it to bear good fruits, it has to be guided by wisdom, and it's possible. Okay, now the universality of this is important. At the end of the day, in this day and age, we have an example. It's very, very interesting that I now go from talking about, like, the Holy Torah and the 7 Noahide laws, even from the Talmud, to another document that's called the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, where the code of law that the United Nations put together in this document, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it sort of resembles, and it's similar to the Noahide covenant and the Noahide laws. And it's a prescription for all human beings, even all member states of the UN and all persons, who all of you have inalienable human rights and responsibilities, right? To live a certain way, like a world constitution. And at this point, do you know that I advocate for the Creator without a vow and the 7 Noahide laws to be read, studied, and applied and followed by all humans, including myself. Yet I also advocate for the rule of international morality based on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and an international order that's based on what's written there. Because it's not religious at all, yet it embodies ethics and values that are actually very good and that are compatible with that, what we know to be of the highest good. And so it's something that has to be worked on. Now, the other thing is, you got to have divine self-empowerment. So I told you, wisdom. Get wisdom. You've got wisdom. Work with this wisdom. And, like, you have to wisely, divinely do for self. Read and study the law. Have a copy of it. Carry it with you. Practice it in the field, right? Because you can't wait for somebody else to do it. You have to take responsibility wisely and be doers of the law, like Esaim or Essenes, doers of the law. Be legit doers of God's law and be blessed and God's speed, and it will work. Emmanuel, God is with us. Hazak Baruch, and be a light to the nations, and Am Yisrael Chai, and May the knowledge of God fill all the earth, and wisdom